1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on episode 77, the second episode we'll be doing in this new format. And we've got more thoughts around this. We're trying to really refresh things a little bit. So we're also going to try to add a little bit more structure to the topics segment. We are going to try
to add a little more structure.
Try. You know what we are.
Remember that word in 10 minutes when we're talking about donkey penis.
The other thing we're going to do is not just yet, but in the near future, now that we've moved the media segment out into its own entity, what we're probably going to be doing is making the podcast bi-weekly, and then on the off weeks having the media bits go up. Just because life got busy. And honestly, I think we'll have more to talk about if we do it every other week. A little bit more of a build-up. But without further ado, so the way we're going to be structuring today, we've got basically, it's going to be talking about what was going on during the week. So first one is just anything newsworthy, current events-y that is just, we feel like talking about. Second is going to be games or media that we've been playing that we want to chat about. And then third is just if we have extra time, then we'll keep rambling about whatever comes up during the conversation. Segment, I really want to call it segment 3. It's the second one now.
We're still going to call it segment 3. It's just going to be a thing now.
I'm just going to keep calling it segment 3. Segment 3 is a quiz.
No one mentions segment 2. It's a rule.
It's like the, what is it, in Warhammer 40k, there are 2 Astartes legions that no one talks about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's 2 that just are gone.
And I was thinking about the Chinese hotel thing where they miss out certain numbers.
Oh, they do that at casinos, too. There's a casino that I went to for it was for Jesse's bachelor party. Actually, they
This is what the sound of structure falling apart sounds like. By the way,
we're still technically in the intro. We're good. But yeah, but casinos they'll skip from like 12 to 14. Anyway, yeah. So I wanted to talk about something that honestly is probably old news at this point, and it only happened like a few days ago. But do you know what G4 TV is?
Rings a bell. Isn't that where you watch Digimon?
No. It was a gaming channel, like an actual cable channel about video games from back in the early 2000s.
This is sounding a lot like what Digimon originally came from.
Wait for it. So, but no, it was like a paid cable channel, or you could get it on like satellite TV and stuff like that. And I think they had, like, you could watch some of it online, and they did, like, you get some of their shows in audio format and stuff. I actually liked watching it when I was a teenager, and because it was, like, it was actually pretty cool. They had, like, hosts that were interesting that actually knew about video games, but it was structured like an actual professional TV show. Anyway, they apparently have gone through a bit of a revival recently, which I didn't know about. And then they blew it all up. By like they were like, oh, they rebranded, they got all these new shows, they had like a studio and stuff. They're like, oh, they're trying to get on the internet craze.
Big budget.
Yeah. And some of the old people from the original show were coming back, like one guy who anyway, they opened one of their first shows with this person who I guess I don't actually know who they are. By the name, I'm guessing there's some kind of an esports person or maybe a voice actor.
Right.
But the show opens up with like a 10-minute feminist rant about how games are horrible to women and blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. And it just like tanked them right off the bat. And from what I've seen, like the stream that it was on, like people just dunking on it constantly. They had to ban like half the comments in the chat because it was just people dunking on them. Like it was an absolute shit show.
So not people who are actually feminist and believing in the thing, just people who are, if you're online, you're expecting trolls. It
was a rant that belonged in like 2015.
Okay.
Like it reminded me of internet feminists from 6 years ago. It was all the same talking points.
Okay.
That have kind of gone through the ringer, and most people.
So were people dunking on the feminists or the channel?
Both. Well, because the channel was it was like, oh, we're going to be talking about Red Dead Redemption, right? And one of the people who was on, they had like a podcast with like a couple couches and people set up, and one of the people on the couch just decided, oh, we'll talk about Red Dead Redemption in a bit, and then she just went on a giant rant about how games are horrible to women and boobies are the only things that are important, and just again, it was color by numbers feminist talking points.
Okay.
And not like, I'm not talking about like the feminist talking points you would hear back in like the early 1900s or in like the 60s or 70s when there was actually a point to it. I'm talking about like internet feminists from like the 2014 to 2016 era.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, because I find it funny. My D&D group, you obviously know, they're quite they have opinions.
Yeah.
Right? And they're mostly women.
Yeah.
And at the end of the last session, one of them suggested a one-shot. And I swear to God, the last 20 minutes of that D&D was them asking if they could have mermaid titties in a D&D one-shot. And that's all they wanted. And the one dude in the group, aside from obviously myself, just did not want to hear anything about this.
God.
It's funny how these things work.
It was one of those things that, but basically what happened, like I heard about this and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember watching that as a teen. And I was like, oh, I wonder what they're up to. And because a bunch of different, like I saw a bunch of YouTube videos pop up in my feed, like just from channels I'd never even heard of talking about this. And I was watching through a few of them and I actually listened to the whole rant and it was so disjointed. But the other thing that like, it was trite and something that had been said a million times before. Yeah. But B, one thing that was like really cringy was the other, 3 people on the show. Just every time she made a point, like people are applauding. Like
you've got to that, haven't you?
It's just, but
I know what you mean. But yeah,
it's just so cringy. I mean, I guess, but they torpedoed their channel in one video.
Yeah, they would do. Well, I mean, it's kind of if you play it. Go on.
My point is this: they were a gaming channel. And rather than talking about gaming, they had one of their hosts go on a preachy rant. So if you're putting out a video where you're like, we're going to talk about video games and Red Dead Redemption, what people are planning to hear about is like gameplay, graphics. Here's a fun story that happened to me in the game. Oh, this story arc is really good. Oh, this voice acting is really good. Or, oh, it's really shit. Or something like that. What they don't expect to hear is a modern-day preachy political lecture.
To be fair, I'd say this channel is predominantly gaming, and we're currently going on a mildly political tangent, which we often do, and we enjoy doing so.
But my point is this. I'm saying that it doesn't... But like, so if I say, like, Blue, hey, we're going to be talking about Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to just randomly start talking about politics in the middle of that discussion.
It depends. If it was relevant to the game, then yes. But it doesn't sound like this was relevant to whatever they're talking about.
It had nothing to do with it.
No, because you said at the beginning, they said, oh, actually, we'll talk about it later. If they'd gone on and been like, the women in Red Dead Redemption are treated historically inaccurately because back in the day...
That would have been an interesting conversation. I would have liked to hear that. I would have liked to hear that debate. But it was just like I'm going to preach to camera, and it was one person talking to the camera while the other people were like, yes!
Yeah.
And clapping like circus seals. Anyway, I just saw that, and it was interesting to me because I remember watching that channel again when I was in middle school or high school, and it was actually like, I would have been in high school actually at that point. I remember it being entertaining, and I remember having like my original iPod and like downloading the podcast version of their shows and just listening to it on that because they were really cool back then. And then there was some other stuff in the background where, like when people were kind of roasting them after the fact, a couple of the other hosts got very up in arms and defensive and said some, let's say, awful
Morally
things.
dubious. Yeah,
Morally dubious things. That's a good way to put it. So,
I see.
Yeah, it was one of those things that it kind of made me sad because I remembered them back in the day and they were good back then, and it's just
The magic's gone a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've been watching. I think I don't really listen to many podcasts. I've listened to. Oh God, was it the Co-optional podcast with Jesse Cox and what's that super British guy that is no longer with us, sadly?
Michael Gambon. Wait, is he alive?
On YouTube.
Oh,
It's not Spiffing.
Oh, you're
Brit,
talking about Total Biscuit?
Total Biscuit.
Yeah.
There you go. It was his podcast. And then obviously I've listened to Yogscast, Triforce podcast. But to be fair, I think the similarity between them is that I generally just listen to old people ranting about games and things that don't really matter, but are like things that happen in the everyday. And
that's I'm trying to think. Like, I used to listen to a lot more podcasts than I do now. And when I say used to, I mean like 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
So like, I'd occasionally listen to, but they didn't really have a lot in common. Like the guy that did Zero Punctuation Yahtzee, he did a semi-podcast thing called Let's Drown Out, which was really good. And it was just him and this Australian friend he had, and the two of them would just chat about random shit while playing a game.
That's what he did with his girlfriend as well, didn't he?
She did come on later. No, he had a different series with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
and that one they actually put out on the professional channel where he posts his.
I think she played, and then he kind of led the discussion.
Yeah. So that was later. Before that, Let's Drown Out started in 2015 and went from there.
Right.
Or maybe it ended in 2015. Either way, I used to listen to that. I actually found one this week. The channel Abroad in Japan.
No. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. I've seen their videos. I'm not a fan.
It's just I like Japanese
the cultural aspect.
Yeah,
of it, yeah.
So it's always cool when they go to like some. Sorry, I was about to say two different words at once and they mixed. It's always cool when they go out to like interesting locations in Japan. They just did one where they went to like this really cool hotel room in Tokyo and did a video on that. But through that, I kind of found a podcast that is done by these other people, and that guy occasionally goes on called I think it's called Trash Taste,
right?
Or it might be called Trash Takes. I think it's Trash Taste though, but it's basically this collection of foreign-born Japanese YouTubers who just do a podcast together, and they just talk about random shit. It doesn't have to do, like, sometimes they'll have themes and stuff, but I also used to listen to the Rooster Teeth podcast, but they kind of
Rooster Teeth was never. They were always a bit too childish for my liking.
I don't know. They really entertained me back in. I don't know. I used to listen to them a lot in like 2018 and 2019. That was when I really got into them. And then it was near the end of 2019. I don't know, I was just kind of getting sick of them. And I don't know if it was anything that they were doing in particular, but it just didn't really appeal to me that well anymore.
Yeah, I get you. You do kind of fall in, you see some YouTube channels kind of falling into a trend and then they just never innovate again. And they don't need to because they got enough people, but it's nice to mix things up every so often, I think.
But and it's also, you kind of get, if you have the same thing all the time, you're eventually going to get a little sick of it and want to move on, check something else out.
Yeah. Your
tastes come and go.
No, there's actually one other podcast that is the Unsubscribe podcast. And That's a bit more. It's again it's a gaming podcast predominantly, but it's probably people of more of a political stance than the other podcasts I listen to. Yeah, very American.
Unsubscribe was it called?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I might be kind of getting back into that for a while, or listening to it because I find
you get into podcasts when you have long journeys that you need to sit and wait on.
Well, now that I actually have to commute in a few days a week again, and also, it's a good thing to have on when I'm doing editing or fiddling around with stuff because it's something I can kind of have on in the background. What?
Yeah. I was being lewd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust myself because I cycle into work. I don't trust myself listening to a podcast on the way in. I'd love to, but for a start, I don't think it's a long enough journey. And second of all, I'm just hyper paranoid when I'm on the road.
Yeah. I like listening to them when I'm driving. That is the thing. Like, I've commuted for most of my life, and I've been driving since I was 16. So at this point, it's like second nature. So if I don't have something on, I'm insanely bored when I'm driving. So podcasts are perfect for that, or audiobooks.
Yeah, well, you got plenty of books that you need to read.
I do, actually. I have a backlog of audiobooks. I'm currently in the middle of the completed works of H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm right now in the middle of Mountains of something?
Madness.
Mountains of Madness, yeah. I'm almost done with that one.
I've not read it, I just know that it's one of the books.
Yeah, I'm listening to them on an audiobook. The audiobook is actually really good. The ones that I guess we're moving into media that we've dealt with this week. But the audiobook that I have, the completed works, is actually dictated by guys who they founded like the H.P. Lovecraft Society, and like it's basically they've done like
that's basically a cult. If it's H.P. Lovecraft and it's a society, it's a cult.
I mean, they had an intro to the book, and normally I don't really give a shit about the author or anything like that, or if there's like a forward or something like that, I skip it because I don't care. I've never understood people who care about the personal lives of people who play sports or people who do music. So I'm like, I don't give a shit. If you play sports, you're out there, entertain me while you're on the field. I don't give a crap what you do when you're not on the field. Same thing with music. It's like you come out there and you sing and then you go away. Like, I don't care about anything else besides that.
Get back in your box. Stay in there.
Exactly. But so there's that. But this one was actually like I listened to the first couple minutes of it because I had my phone in my pocket and I couldn't get it out fast enough. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty interesting. And so I listened to the whole thing, talking about their history of getting into like, the Lovecraftian lore and the different things that they've done. And they actually, so it's people who have been passionate about his works.
Yeah.
And it's been a big part of their life.
Started making a drinks line, but the feds stopped them.
Oh, God. Drink our new Cthulhu IPA.
Oh my goodness. It would be both really cool and also really fucked up.
Well, their backstory was like that they had done like the Call of Cthulhu tabletop game. Yeah. They're
all D&D players. I'll basically put my life on it.
They went even further than that and did like reenactments. So like not reenactment, but like LARPing. Big LARPing. They essentially did LARPing but with Cthulhu.
The poor bastard that has to be Cthulhu. What?
No one can see this, but we both made tentacle hands on our faces. But God! But it's quite good. And I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day, and like the kind of how these stories were actually horror. Because I feel like the way that they were horrifying to people when these books came out, now it's just like the standard mode of thinking for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot. One of the reasons I love Cthulhu so much is that they do not fall into the category of cheap jump scares. They are all about the psychological, the extra layer of you think about something, you're like, oh shit, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a second, you process it, and then you're really like, fuck me.
Yeah, because a lot of Lovecraft's works were about the horror of, like, it was existential dread is the phrasing that I hear used a lot with it, and it's the idea that the horror in it comes from the fact that if following the logic in those stories, humanity is this insignificant pinprick on the universe that will eventually fade away and mean nothing, and it will be a blip on the scale of the universe. And, for people...
Also, we're some, like, the dumbest people in the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
exactly, yeah, because these other creatures, they're able to just create life for fun.
Yeah.
And our, petty struggles are somehow, they're extremely relevant to us, but they mean nothing on that cosmic scale. And that's the horror behind those books. Which, again, I feel like with how nihilistic I get a lot of modern culture is, I just like, is that really horrifying these days? I feel like that's just how most people feel.
Yeah, I mean, what with the emo phase, people are just, I don't know, maybe not.
It's not horrifying because of all the lo-fi hip-hop?
Well, because we all talk about it so much. Like, I doubt in the past people would come in and be like, I was, I've been murdered at work today, kind of thing. Like, people probably wouldn't have said that kind of shit back in the... I don't know, maybe they would. There's just a lot more no, not even that, self-pity, I think, in this day and age.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads to exaggeration, and then stuff that's meant to not be exaggerated just doesn't sound nearly as bad. Yeah.
We're getting into dangerous territory. We could be talking about philosophy in a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm wondering how they managed to LARP, like, because most of, as we've just discussed, most of Lovecraftian life is kind of like psychological and dream sequences and things like that. So, like, how the fuck do they sort that out?
I don't know. Maybe they have people acting as cultist members, just do creepy eyes at everyone that comes by.
It's just like, oh, god damn it, we all turned up again and we're all cult members again. God damn it. Like,
it's time to go and worship the fish people.
Oh, no, wait, Greg's come along as a fish. Excellent, good job, Greg. We're going to worship you.
They show up with one of those giant rubber horse heads on.
Well, that kind of brings us along to what I was going to talk about.
All right, let me hear it.
So, in this day and age, I feel like weddings are... There are people who basically want to enjoy weddings and not have not make it quite so spiritual, right? I'm going to be going to a dinosaur-themed wedding.
Oh, God. Well, I got something to talk about this, too, but go on. Let me hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give away too much, but, like, yeah, there's a couple who Alicia knows, and they're getting married. I can't wait. I'm like, I got to, like, turn up to the wedding in one of those dinosaur suits.
Bring them a copy of Dino Pimp.
Oh my god. Oh, I shouldn't.
But you should.
Want to.
For those that weren't listening in the early stages of the podcast, we had a couple book reviews that we did as a joke for where both of us went through a dinosaur erotica book. And one of them was called Dino Pimp, and I don't remember, what was the one you did?
Ravaged by the Triceratops.
Ravaged by the Triceratops, yeah, so could be appropriate here.
Yeah, just go as a dinosaur, but as a Triceratops with dildos for horns.
God.
I'm sure that would be incredibly appropriate at this two women wedding. Anyway, yeah, so, like, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to see what it's like. I hope all the food's going to be, like, dinosaur themed.
There was a I've only been to, like, 2 themed weddings. And And
Also, I think, to be fair, I think it's just the after party that's going to be dinosaur.
That's going to be
I'm not
okay.
sure, but
So like the ceremony will be normal, but then
you'll
you'll have a dinosaur reception.
The inflatable dinosaur person running up with the ring, with tiny hands.
Oh my god, I can only imagine.
I mean, sorry.
No. It's fine. I feel like I'm cutting you off. If you had more to say about that.
I was just gonna say I was going over to pick Alicia up the other night from work, and I was waiting by a pub, and there was a guy running around the pub in an inflatable dinosaur.
Okay.
He's just running around it. It was fucking hilarious. Anyway, go on.
So
can you beat that?
No, well, not really. Not that one. Actually, I have a pub story that can potentially beat that. But I want to stay on themed weddings, and then I'll tell that story.
Yep.
You've
been to a lot of weddings.
I have been to quite a few weddings. I want to say probably about 3/4 of my friends from college are married now. And one of the weddings I went to, like I've been to like the very traditional ones. I've been the ones that are more like casual. They're more about but they still keep a traditional-esque ceremony, but the weddings themselves can change. And I've been.
I do want to say the wake, but that's funerals.
No, yeah, it's the opposite.
They still have a party afterwards. It's like I just can't remember what it's called.
Well, the party depends on. Yeah, I guess it depends on the culture. The Irish at least have a party afterwards.
I think everywhere does.
I feel like it's more somber in some cultures, but
Germans have cake before the main meal. Sorry,
my two of my college friends, they massive nerds.
Yeah,
they had a Lord of the Rings themed wedding.
Nice.
To the point where I'm pretty sure the bride wore like things to make her ears look like elf ears.
Oh no!
And she had the wedding dress was custom made to look like those really cool looking like elf dresses from the movies.
Yeah.
And the groomsmen all had like swords. The bridesmaids all had like various magical paraphernalia, but it wasn't like cheap shit. Like we actually had like
movie prop kind of stuff.
Yeah, like really high quality, nice stuff. And they had the arch where they actually had the ceremony performed made to look like one of those elf gateways from Lord of the Rings.
Were they LARPers and they just...
No, they weren't.
Okay.
Believe me, there were LARPers at my college. One of them nearly shot me with a bow and arrow.
Nice.
Because they were LARPing, and I was trying to get across there's a little field, the quad in the middle of our...
Was it a real arrow?
It wasn't a real arrow, but it was shot with a real bow, so it would have hurt if it hit me.
Yeah.
I was trying to get to my car because I had a summer job at the college, and like I made the mistake of walking through the LARPing.
It was dangerous sport out there.
Yeah. No, it was like basically like a shaft of like thin PVC pipe that with like a like one of those squishy balls on the end, so it would if it hit somebody, it would be like a soft impact.
They essentially shot you with a dildo.
They essentially shot me with a dildo, yes. I could see the look on your face. I could see you barely containing that laugh. But anyway, no, but it was actually like, it was a beautiful wedding. So they did that for the actual ceremony, and then it was the reception had like a Lord of the Rings themed like cake and gift table and stuff, but people were in normal like wedding attire after that.
Did they have like the cake as like... What was it, Minas Tirith? So it had the big walkway out from the top tier of the cake. That would have been so... I think it would have been the circular levels.
You know what? I'm really trying to remember what the cake looked like now. I know it was...
That's such a missed opportunity.
I don't think they did. I don't think they went that far. This was like 4 or 5 years ago now, and I'm really trying to remember what the cake looked like. I remember the ceremony. I remember the props. Yeah. I remember like the actual like dinner area and everything, but I can't. Oh,
you have a single candle on top of the very edge of the bridge, where it's the guy who's on fire who runs off the end.
I'm not sure that's the kind of thing you want to have at your wedding.
It's Lord of the Rings.
Oh god, and he's just like on a toothpick flying through the air, like he's like mid dive. Oh god. Okay, we're going it's going off the deep end at this point. Also, completely random story from that wedding. I loved the fact that so I've been a groomsman a few times, and I was a groomsman at that wedding. And the suits that we all got as groomsmen had suspenders. I hadn't worn suspenders since I was like 4 years old. And I'm like, these things are amazing. Like
I've been wearing them for fucking years. I love those things.
I wear belts. I don't wear suspenders. So like I thought that was really cool. I'd love to wear a suit with suspenders again. Completely random tangent. And just to close the loop, the pub story.
Yep.
I was not actually at this pub, but so we used to in college occasionally like, get a little stir crazy and just want to go, let's wander through the city, right? We'll just walk in a direction for a few hours and walk back, explore, check some stuff out.
Yeah.
And we were wandering through like the downtown area, and it was probably like 1 a.m. And across the street, and Juan almost got hit by a truck. It was hilarious. He's used to walking around in Boston, where basically like the pedestrians are bigger assholes than the drivers, and so you can just walk out in the street, and the cars will generally see you and stop. He tried to do that in this city, which was a much smaller city, and the truck just swerved around him and honked at him, and he nearly got sideswiped. The thing was hilarious. Anyway, so we get down that block, and there was a bar across the street from us. And out front of it, we heard like this loud argument. And what we saw was like they had like one of those like folding signs that has like the specials and stuff out front of it.
Yeah.
And leaning on that was this, tall, like skinny dude, and he was just sitting there smoking a cigarette. And then running around him was this woman and this guy shouting at each other, having like a full-on domestic argument, both of them wasted. And they were shouting over this guy, but he was just completely oblivious. He was just sitting there, chill as chill could be, smoking a cigarette, just looking off into space, somehow oblivious to this giant argument that was happening over his head.
Nice. Oh. Yeah, you gotta love drunk people sometimes just for giving you the free entertainment.
Yeah, if you can see them at a distance.
Yep.
Oh my god. All right. Well, that's a good place to end it off on. Because now we have our upcoming segment. You've got a quiz prepared.
Segment 3.
And if the quiz does not adequately fill up the rest of the time, we also wanted to talk about the Pokemon game Blue's been playing recently. You've been playing the Switch remakes of Pokemon Pearl and Diamond, correct?
Yes.
All right. So that's what you got coming up for the next segment. But this is going to be the end of segment 1 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you will hear us again momentarily for segment 3. Welcome back.
That fucking part 2 was crazy, wasn't it, Kaiser? Jesus. The things that you said just cannot be repeated. I'm sure that's never going to come out.
You really? My intro? How could you? How could you do this to me? Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 3, our wild card segment, which, as Blue well knows, there is no segment 2. Or if there is, it's in a mysterious other realm, somewhere we are not.
Deedles, but segment 3 this week, we've got a quiz. A 10-question quiz this time.
Let's hear it.
And the theme. Do you want to give a guess what the theme could be?
Cthulhu.
Theme is Pokemon.
Oh god, it is. I should have known because you were like, "Oh, I've been playing Pokemon Diamond. I can do this."
I very subtly asked before. You have played Pokemon Diamond, right?
I played it back in whenever the original one came out for the DS.
Oh, I hope your memory's good.
I didn't beat it.
That was really
no.
Oh,
so this will be fun.
It was my first proper Pokemon game that I played through.
So
I loved it.
for reference, and I do want to say this is me defending myself ahead of time. I've beat Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow multiple times each. I've beat.
Don't worry, there's no questions about that.
Just let me keep going. I've beat Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green multiple times each. I've beat Pokemon Gold and Silver multiple times, and the remake of Gold. I've beat
Sword and Shield.
I haven't beat Sword and Shield. Ruby and Sapphire. I've beat one of those once.
Black and White.
I beat White entirely in Japanese, and because I couldn't read anything. But it was going to be a year before it came out in the US, so I got the emulator in Japanese and beat it without actually being able to read any of the words in it.
Yep. And what was the other one? X and Y.
X and Y. I think I beat X.
Okay.
I don't know if I actually
a bit
beat
fucked up, guys. You probably shouldn't say that on the podcast.
Oh god, I should have played the game corresponding to my chromosome.
So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, good luck at home. The first 5 questions are specifically about Pokemon Diamond, by the way.
Okay,
Well, Pokemon Diamond or Pearl, because it doesn't matter.
go for it.
Okay, question number 1, starting the clock. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, one Pokemon, including its evolved version, does all of the hidden moves apart from Fly. Which Pokemon is it? So this is in Brilliant Diamond. This is not in the original, because in the original you had to teach them to your Pokemon, but in the new versions,
They can learn them.
they don't. In the new version, they don't need to learn them. You just have the abilities, and wild Pokemon do the things for you.
I'm gonna say
There's
Starmie.
Okay, you're saying Starmie, so that this covers like Swim, Waterfall.
It's everything
Rock
but
Smash.
Fly. Yeah.
Okay. something about-
Oh god.
15 seconds. Strength.
Yeah. The big fat Wartortle, the big one, not Wartortle. The crocodile.
Blastoise?
No, he's the crocodile, and he gets bigger, and he's a bigger crocodile. I think that's Gold and Silver that I'm thinking of. Shit. I'm gonna go with my original answer, Starmie.
Okay. The Pokemon that does all of the hidden moves, with exception to Fly, is Bidoof. I fuck you not. You surf on a Bidoof.
I should have known that. I actually should have known that because my friend Keith and
Yeah.
because I always played it I never did the strategy where you have one shit Pokemon in your party that you teach all of the things. He did that, so he'd have 5 good Pokemon and then one that he just throw all the HMs on.
Yeah.
And it was always Bidoof. I should have known that one.
He can also do Waterfall, and yes, they have animated Bidoof that you're sitting on his back when he swims and he just fucking shoots up a waterfall. It's fucking weird.
There's a thumbnail. I already know what picture needs to go into the thumbnail. So just remind me after this.
Question number 2.
Yeah.
In Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, what is the name of the professor?
Fuck, I should know this. Let's see. There was oak, there was elm, there was birch.
I mean, the fact that you know all those really does help because of the theme.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember which one was in those games. I'm actually going to just go on. I'm going to say it's Professor Birch.
Okay. Final answer?
Yeah, because I know he's in one of them. I just can't remember which one.
It is the Professor Rowan.
Fuck.
Let's try. I do actually like the way that the Professor Rowan looks.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the cooler looking professors. Oak kind of looks a bit. I'm not a massive fan of.
Oak's just classic. Oak's vanilla. Like he's.
Yeah, Rowan's got a big fucking mustache.
Oh my god. So the picture I was thinking of, and a few minutes ago, and I don't know if you've seen this one. It's a comic someone did, and the first thing is like Ash trying to teach Scyther fly, and Scyther can't learn to fly, but Spearow can. So the very next panel is Gary Oak standing like just on the back of a Spearow up in the air going, whoa! Because this is this tiny bird and he's standing on the back of it. Anyway, go on.
Okay, question number 3.
Yeah.
In Pokemon Diamond,
Ready.
what title is given to Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf?
Who?
Those are our Pokemon. The title given to Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf.
Well, I'm assuming that there are some variety of legendary Pokemon, so they probably give it like a. I'm assuming you didn't go with something very generic like legendary Pokemon because that's something that's given to all other legendary Pokemon.
No.
I'm assuming they gave them to some.
This
some
is
other...
specific to those 3.
Okay, in which case I'm gonna say. I want to say it started with an M. I'm gonna say Mystic.
Okay.
Like I want to say Mystic or Mythic, but I might just be pulling that out of my ass.
So, in part of the story for Diamond and Pearl, is that in order to summon Dialga, they have the villain has to get the power of these 3 Pokemon, who each reside in lakes dotted around the region, and so they are the Lake Guardians.
Oh, okay. I would have. Yeah, I definitely would not have got that.
Okay, question number. I feel like these have been a bit too hard, but I didn't know your experience with this game.
It's not. It's a game that I played, but I played it briefly and never beat it.
Yeah, you always got the first one.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, here's one that isn't necessarily Diamond, but it's. Anyway, when I looked it up, I had that suffix at the beginning, so maybe it's specifically. Anyway,
let's see it. Come on.
In Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, name a type that is super effective against the Fairy type. What with the tough one?
Oh, this is actually pretty easy. They're like assuming they haven't changed it too much from the old days. There's a few that are going to be good against Fairy.
I will tell you this: there are 2 answers.
Yeah, I want to say that the ones I want to say the ones that are good against Fairy are Rock and Steel. I'm going to guess both of them.
Well, no, you have to guess one.
All right, fine. If both of those are right, though, I want a bonus point. I'll go with Rock type.
Okay, stopping the clock. You can probably tell by my smile
Was it Steel?
that it is Poison.
And
Steel.
fuck. See,
you're so close.
Steel was my first guess too, and I went with Rock because I thought it was a safer guess. Come on, give me half a point.
Okay, I'll give you half a pity point. This is a Bidoof worth of a point.
I have 1 Bidoof.
1 Bidoof, yes.
It's more than I ever wanted.
Yep. Question number 5. The last of the Brilliant Diamond questions.
Okay.
Name a type. No, wait, no, that's the wrong one. Name 3 of the Super Contest Show categories. The Super Contest Show categories.
Just any of them?
3 of them.
3.
There are 5 in total.
Oh god, there's more than I even thought. I'm assuming this is like because I want to say that Diamond and Pearl is where they introduced the idea of doing like the breeder shows, where they had them.
Super contest shows are where, first of all, it's based off of the Pokemon's style. Then it's their stickers that you put on the ball. Then it's. I'm just going to stop the timer because this is unfair. Then it's a quick time event.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically a super.
It sounds like they've improved them from the original, but in the original it was essentially like well, you know, like dressage, like where they have the horses dancing and stuff like that, or where they have like the dog contest where they go out there and they look pretty and okay, I'm going to say. Is it?
If you want, I'll give you one of them, and then obviously you can't use that one. There's only
4 others. Yeah, that'd be good, just to give me an idea what they all like follow in terms of theme.
Okay, so one of the categories is coolness.
Okay, you see, this is what I was trying to figure out. If it was something like that, or if it was like an event, like it was like, I don't know, 100-yard jump or something. I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to say poise. No, they wouldn't use a word.
A game for children.
Yeah, they wouldn't use a word like poise. Fuck.
I'm gonna give you 20 more seconds.
Fuck. Coolness is probably was actually the one I had in my mind, so now I can't use that one. I'm gonna go with passion, elegance, or passion, elegance, and what's the word?
Stop.
Brazen.
Brazen. Okay. The answers are: first one, coolness, like I said. Second one, cuteness.
Fuck. That should have been
Third
obvious.
one, beauty.
Fuck.
Fourth is cleverness. And fifth is toughness. There you go. You fucking sucked at that.
I really did. Because you know what? Even in the original games, I never did those contests.
Really?
No.
Oh, I love
They were the stupidest fucking thing in the world. I wanted to go out there and kill more Pokemon. I didn't want to go in there and watch them dance around with stickers on their face.
Killing the crowd in a different way. Question number 6, and we've gone off of the specifically diamond questions now.
Okay, I have a chance.
Yeah, because you've got half a point so far, and that was generous.
Hey, I did say steel first.
You said steel and rock, and in
I
fact
did.
you said rocks first. Anyway, what are 4 of the 8 Pokemon regions called?
Let's go with some of the easy ones. Kanto, Johto.
I like how you're naming them from the beginning. This is good.
Well, it's the order I experienced them in.
Yep.
Kanto, Johto, Hoenn,
Yep. One more.
and fuck, what was the French one called? Kanto, Johto, Hoenn. Oh my god, I'm
20 seconds.
What was the fucking Hawaiian one called? That one was good too.
Yep. 10 seconds.
I don't know. Ondo.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it.
I couldn't think of a fourth one. Fuck.
The Hawaiian one,
Was
I think, is Alola.
Alola.
But so you did Kanto, Johto, Hoenn.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was Sinnoh,
Oh, I should have known that one. Yeah, that one's.
Unova.
I wouldn't
Which-
have known that one.
No, I wouldn't either. Kalos.
Never heard of that one.
Then it's Alola.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Galar.
That's the one in the UK.
Maybe, I don't know.
The Sword and Shield ones. Okay. 3 out of 4. That was better than I thought I was going to do. I'm surprised I remember
Yeah, I mean, you
Hoenn.
fucking nailed those first 3 in like seconds. I'll give you another half point. You're up to 1 Bidoof.
I've done it 1 point.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
What Pokemon did I nickname after you? And this is partially a trick question. But I don't know. Telling you that might only
Confuse me
fuck your
more.
chances further, yeah.
Why? Is it a trick question because it's a Digimon?
No. What Pokemon did I nickname after you?
It's probably going to be a Bidoof, but
But is that the trick?
yeah, I don't know.
20 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a Bidoof.
Okay, I'm going to stop the clock there. The Pokemon that I nicknamed after you was Scyther.
Oh, that's actually okay. I wasn't sure.
Scyther
That's okay. I like that.
That's what I called it.
I'm sad that I got the question wrong, but I'm happy that you chose a good Pokemon.
I mean, yeah, it's not exactly Nannymon, is it?
No.
Is Bidoof the Nannymon of...
No, I assumed that, like, you knew I hated Bidoof, so you named a Bidoof after me.
Bidoof is adorable, especially if you've seen that animation, which we'll be talking about later.
Okay.
Okay, question number 8. I'm sure you'll get this one. Name 6 types of Pokeball, not including the original.
Okay, so you can't use Pokeball. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll go with Great Ball, Ultra Ball, Master Ball. So there's 3. Prestige Ball, Net Ball.
Prestige Ball?
Yeah, Prestige Ball.
I've never heard of that one.
It's the white one with the red band on the middle.
That's not Prestige, that's something else.
That's what it was called in the original games. It's called Prestige Ball.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Premier Ball, I think they call it now, maybe? I think they probably changed the name. Premier Ball, I'll say instead of Prestige Ball.
Okay.
I already said Net Ball, so we're up to 5. And then Heal Ball.
Heal Ball is 1. So, what? Sorry,
That should be 6.
quickly.
So I said Great Ball, Ultra Ball, Master Ball, Net Ball, Premier Ball, and Heal Ball.
Okay, it's all going to come down to whether Premier Ball counts.
Well, it's either Prestige or Premier Ball. It's one or the other. It had like a fancy name to it. And it was like you could...
They did originally call it, and maybe it is still called that, the Premier Ball.
Okay.
I'm not seeing anything about Prestige Ball.
Okay, I probably... Premier Ball was what I said the second time, so that's what I actually went with.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been using, in this current run-through, I've been using a lot of Timer Balls and Quick Balls, weirdly.
I never used any of the weird types of balls. They all just sat in my inventory until I ran out of Ultra Balls.
Well, the reason... So I use those 2 and also Dusk Balls a lot, because on the Switch version, it does day and night cycle with the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And I am nocturnal pretty much, so Dusk Balls always give me an advantage.
You know, they did do it with the real world in the original game too, but the trick was just to set your internal clock on your DS.
Clock, yeah, Timer Ball, the longer the fight goes on, the higher the chance of it catching. And Quick Ball, literally, you throw it before even attacking, and quite often it will just straight up catch them. I've caught legendaries with Quick Balls.
I mean, it makes sense. I just never used them because...
I mean, you named Netball. Who the fuck uses the fish one? Fish and bug types.
You know what? That is... Netballs were one of the few ones I used because I had used them to catch Magikarp.
Also, I never used Heal Ball because, like, it heals them without you having to go back to a
Heal
center.
Balls are fucking pointless.
Yeah. What was the black one with, like, gold trimming on it?
Oh, I know the one you're talking about too. I can't think of it though.
Maybe it's like a different Ultra Ball?
I mean,
No.
Ultra Balls were black and gold.
No,
but
Luxury Ball.
Luxury Ball. Oh, right, because it improved your Pokemon's disposition if you caught them with that ball.
Yeah, it made them friendlier with you faster or something. Yeah, well done. You got that.
All right, that's my first legitimate question I've got. It's the first one I've got 100% right.
Boom. Also, by the way, I haven't used any Premier Balls because they give them to you for free every, like, 10 things you buy in a shop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to use some fucking freebie. Like, fuck that. I don't know. I feel like they're just worse.
I feel like in
didn't
the
say anything on them.
Pokemon Sword and Shield, I think I used one of them to catch something because I'm like, it's just cluttering my inventory.
Yeah. They just kind of talk there.
Now, actually,
right.
let's before we go on to the next question. This is a phenomenon that I experience a lot in RPGs, and I feel like a lot of people who play video games have. Pokemon being an RPG. It's the harrowing thought of, but I might need it later.
Yeah. The potions and stuff in Skyrim.
Yeah, or you end up with a bunch of clutter. I was playing The Witcher 3 earlier, like before work this morning, and I have like a bunch of like swords, but they're like really rare. But I'm never going to use them. I'm either going to put them in a storage
they're not
chest.
the best, yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah. But go on. But I feel like that's what my Pokeballs fell into in these original games. Because I just used the Ultra Ball because I knew I could buy more of those. But the other ones,
I've actually found that Ultra Ball highly. Anyway, this is a conversation for others because we're going to talk about Pokemon.
Okay.
Question number 9. What is the name of the sweet treats that you feed your Pokemon? And I'm not talking about berries.
You talking about rare candies?
They're not really a.
They're called candy.
Yeah, I know, but then that's not what I'm talking about. I should say to improve your Pokemon's. What's the word I'm looking for?
I know what you're talking.
Style.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because you have to put them into those machines and they spit them out and they look like little cubes.
Sure.
I know what they are, but I, like most things in video games, I never called them by their actual name.
They're in Pokemon Go as well, so I know you've seen them.
I thought they were just called candies in Pokemon Go.
Nope. 5 seconds.
I don't know. Gumdrops.
Okay. The sweet treats that you feed your Pokemon are called puffins.
Isn't that a bird from New Zealand?
That's a puffin. It's a very fun word, isn't it? Puffin.
It really is.
Puffin.
Yeah, I like I said, I never really used those things. So
yeah, you
I
combine
remember-
berries and you mix them up and you make spicy puffins, cool puffins.
yeah, I knew what they were and I knew how to get them. I just didn't have any idea what the fuck they were called.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Let's see if I can get.
Finalmente, a full question correct. No way, you got a Pokeball one correct.
Yep.
That's fair. That's fair.
So at this point, if I
Okay.
get this question correct, I will increase my score by 50%.
You will. You sad, sad man.
Come on, let's see it.
Okay. What is the name of the Pokemon challenge where if a Pokemon dies, they are not allowed to be used again?
Oh, this is like some kind of a meta thing that like streamers and shit do, isn't it?
Sort of, yeah. It's for the real try-hard, hardcore Pokemon fans.
I don't know. I just want to say
the
something
name.
like meme-worthy, like, you know, 0 deaths, Lassie isn't coming home again.
I would never attempt one of these because I would just fucking rage way too much.
I have so
also, you can't capture more than one of each Pokemon. Ten seconds. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know.
I don't know. The fucking one chance, one opportunity, one life challenge.
One life.
Well, I'm thinking of what was in my head was the Eminem song, like, you know.
Yeah.
But go on.
So no, it's called the Nuzlocke challenge.
I've heard that before.
Mm.
Why is it called the? But why is it called?
I don't
is
know
that a
why it's
Pokemon?
called the Nuzlocke. No, not that I know of. There's Nuzleaf, I think. Don't know.
God. You know what?
But yeah.
I'm gonna turn the tables on you right now because
Oh.
I feel like, you know, attacked here. I got 2 questions right out of all these things. Pokemon game I barely played, so I'm gonna ask you a question
It
from
was
one of the
super effective.
a Pokemon game that I played as a kid that you
Okay.
probably won't know the answer to, or if you do, I'll be very impressed.
Okay.
How did you get to fight Missigno in the original Pokemon games? Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Missigno. Wait, say the name again?
Missigno. It was missing number, and it was a glitch in the game, and you were able to like dupe items
yeah, I
and
remember.
stuff.
You could get to, like, your characters to over level 100 with it.
Yep.
How did you get to? I think it was something to do with the Unknown Cave, wasn't it?
No, it was not.
Shit.
You've still got, I'll give you another 60 seconds.
I'm
I'm actually wearing a watch.
assuming it's going to be something to do with integers and the coding. So maybe you had to reduce a Pokemon. I know you could only ever have the opportunity to do it once.
No,
but maybe you could like.
I'll tell you this much. You're wrong about that. You could do it as many times as you wanted.
Okay. maybe reduce a Pokemon's attack or something below 0 and it shoots up to the other end of the scale or something, I don't know.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
All right. The way that you got to fight Masigno was you would first have to go to Viridian City,
Yeah.
talk to the man that gives you the tutorial about how to catch a Pokemon, and then immediately fly to Cinnabar Island.
Okay.
And then go to the right-hand side of the island, get into the water, and immediately along the edge of the island, surf up and down, and he would appear.
I see.
As well as some
People-
other... You could also get Mew that way, which was the only way to get him in the original game without going to some kind of an event.
Oh, I see.
But yeah,
Well, there we go.
that was...
I actually was told about that on one of the podcasts that I talked about earlier, but I've completely forgotten it.
And the other thing was, any item that was in your 6th slot in your item inventory would be duplicated well over infinite numbers. So you could get like piles of rare candy,
Right,
master
candies,
balls,
yeah.
whatever. But yeah, fun little glitch from back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, back when I was playing Pokemon Diamond, I didn't do it when I did my first run of it, but it was like cheat packs for the DS.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was just curious to see what some of the moves were that Pokemon did at high levels, so I just infinite candied myself. And did no clips, so I could walk across the ocean and get the legendary Pokemon that you don't otherwise need in events.
Yeah. There were like glitches like that are always fun when you go back and do them. Like the original Oblivion, like I beat that legitimately. But in the original build of it for the Xbox, there was a guy in the capital city you could murder, and he would have infinite stacks of 6 gold on him. So you could get infinite gold.
Right.
And there were
But you'd
glitches.
have to murder him each 6 gold, so it's not really...
No. You just murder him once, and then on his corpse, there's 6 gold that never goes away.
Oh, I see.
And so you can just keep tapping A repeatedly, and you'll just keep getting the 6 gold.
But yeah, no. So the Pokemon game, as you know, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and it's... I think I have to retake my stance on modern day Pokemon games, because previously, I think I've said on the podcast, there was a Pokemon game that I played, I think it was X and Y,
Mm-hmm.
and I played through the whole game without ever losing once. I accidentally walked into the Final Four, having not healed after going through Victory Road for the first time, and still beat them all. But no, this one, maybe I'm just not as good at games anymore. But no, it took a lot of tries, actually, to get past just the final champion, because she had some bullshit Pokemon.
They have made the games significantly easier over the years. I'd highly recommend you find an emulator and play through, maybe not necessarily the original Red and Blue, because there's a lot of quality of life features that got added, but like Fire Red or Leaf Green if you haven't, because those games were like I've gone back and played them. I said this a few podcasts back, but I recently played through the entirety of Pokemon Yellow on my phone. On an emulator, and I haven't beat it since I was probably in middle school.
Right.
And it was actually really fucking hard. But yeah, they've added way too many quality of life features, and there's also like, all right, I got to rant about this, and I've ranted about this before, but your rivals in the later games are so fucking awful. Because like in the original Pokemon game, you got Gary. He's another kid, same age as you. And
I mean, they're all the same. But yeah.
No.
Okay.
Oh god, no, they're not.
Okay.
So in the original on Red and Blue, you got Gary, and he was a fucking douchebag to you. Like even when you beat him, he's like, these aren't even my best Pokemon. Get out of my face. I'm gonna go win some more badges. Like he'd do stuff like that, and he was a great rival for those games, because every time you fought him, you're like, I just want to kick this guy's ass. Like, he actually motivated you to go up against him. And I just compare him to some of the rivals that you get in some of the later games, like when you get to like X and Y, when you get to like I think it was not Golden. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Hawaiian one, the I can't remember what it was. It was the one where you have this. Oh, Pokemon Black and White.
I just said black and white.
Oh, did you? I thought you said X and Y again. Sorry, that's my bad. But you have like these just people who are like, all right, we're gonna battle now, but here, just in case I need to heal your boo-boos before we battle, let me heal all your Pokemon so it's a perfectly fair fight. It's not like you had to plan for this in advance and you might actually lose because you don't. It just.
To be fair, it's pretty BS when they just appear out of a fucking hedgerow when you're like 2 feet from a healing station.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, like, in the original game, the game, like, kind of taught you a lesson. So, like, I'm thinking of Gary, right? You always would have hit a Pokemon Center before you hit Gary, right?
Yeah.
In Pokemon Red and Blue. So, if you went up exploring without healing your Pokemon and ran into him, that was your own damn fault, because you didn't heal your Pokemon. I think, like, part of what they did was put the guy in a random spot like that. I guess maybe that's their way of making it more fair. Like, it's like, okay, we put him in this random location that doesn't make any sense, so we'll heal your Pokemon first.
Yeah.
But in the original games, like, I'm thinking the first time you run into Gary is in Viridian City. You hit the Pokemon Center first, and if you decide to go up exploring where the Elite Four stuff is and catching Pokemon up there, you can run into him up there. But you would have hit a Pokemon Center first. Then you run into him in Cerulean City. And you would have gone through some trainers and some pretty brutal fights going through Mount Moon, but you hit a Pokemon Center first, and then you explore north, and that's where you run into him. So basically the game was, they didn't hold your hand and heal your Pokemon. If you were enough of an idiot to walk past the Pokemon Center and not heal your Pokemon, you're getting your ass kicked by Gary.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, because I remember when you go into the league, just before you actually go into the door that goes into the Final Four, if you go near that area, and bear in mind this door is like next to a healing station, if you go near the door, he appears. So you have to, like, I didn't edge around the room because I didn't even expect him to be there. Fortunately, I went straight left. If I'd gone forward and left, I would have fucking hit him.
Well, that's the thing. Like, in that, again, the original Pokemon games, you know, you go into the Elite Four, Gary already beat them. You know, you're coming in there late.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's already the champion.
Oh.
So in the original Pokemon games, you beat the Elite Four, and you get to the end, and then you're like, okay, but now you have to beat the previous champion, and it's him, and he's like, what took you so long? Like, that's why
I don't think that the one in Diamond even beats the Final Four.
Yeah, that's kind of, even in Gold and Silver, your rival was a legitimate criminal. Like, he busted down the wall to the lab and stole Pokemon, and so you're chasing him around the world.
Yeah.
Like, or you run into him. It's a little bit less believable than just being like another Pokemon trainer, but no, it's a guy that legitimately broke in, stole the Pokemon, and you're kind of chasing him around, or you run into him in various locations and you get into fights and stuff. But yeah, I don't like the new rivals in any of the new games.
Frustrating part of the Final Four for me, most annoying Pokemon to fight, wasn't the strongest Pokemon. Because don't get me wrong, I was spitting fire sometimes when, like, I think I literally got the final Pokemon of the champion down to 1 HP, and it killed me. Yeah. And I was pissed, and I'd run this thing like 10 times. I still couldn't beat this bitch. But no, the most annoying Pokemon of all those fights is, I think it's like the second of the Elite Four. By the way, the first guy in the Elite Four, he's like a bug nerd guy that is just...
I know the one you're talking about.
You just fucking trample him as you walk to the second area. Like, he's shit. No one likes bug Pokemon. I'm sorry.
I kind of like Beedrill.
Beedrill, yeah?
I mean, he's good for the first few, but his stats kind of top off pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's not one of the... I don't know. But no, it's a fucking Drifblim.
Oh yeah,
second of the Elite Four. The first thing it does is use a move called Minimize, which sharply increases its evasion. and it does that for like 3 rounds in a row or something. So it literally can't get any higher.
Mm.
And you just waste all of your PP. I don't know what the unabbreviated version of that
Pokemon
is, otherwise
power.
I would have said it. Thank you.
Pokemon
All
power.
of your attacks are on limited number, and you just waste so much shit trying to hit this stupid fucking balloon. And it's like a ghost type as well, so there's not much that is super effective against it. I think it's ghost wind type or something.
Yeah. Again, this is like, it does that is very refreshing though to hear that it's actually challenging. Like the original Elite Four in the original Pokemon, like the last guy you fight has 2 Dragonites. Like not your rival, but the guy before him. Like Lance, he's got like 2 Dragonites, some Dragonair. He's got a Gyarados, like all these really high level Dragon Pokemon.
Yeah.
And typically what'll happen is one of them will come out and just Hyper Beam and blow away your first Pokemon in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So you really had to like stock up on max revives and items and stuff like that before you went into the Elite Four and the old ones. It was actually satisfying when you got through, because normally they just kick your ass.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it. It was a mix of satisfaction. Also, thank fuck that's finally over for me. No, the final boss, the really challenging Pokemon, was they have Spiritomb is kind of annoying, but he's not like top level annoying. But no, Milotic, I don't know. Anyway, big fucking fish, right? You'd think, oh, I've got Torterra. I've had him since the beginning. This is going to be a fucking easy game. No. Grass, not effective against Milotic.
Well, because it's because it's water psychic, isn't it?
I'm not sure what the second type is.
It's either water psychic or water fairy, and I think that's the reason that it's not effective. But go on.
Furthermore, Milotic has a fire move, which is bullshit.
To be fair, so this was years ago now, but Juan and I, when we were roommates at college, we played through the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green on emulators and like just played through it. You know what Juan's party was? 6 Starmies.
Right.
He just nothing but Starmie, because Starmie can use Psychic, Starmie can use Hydro Pump, Starmie can use Thunderbolt, Starmie can use Recover, and that was all he needed. He just had 6 of them.
That's the fucking thing. Every time Milotic's health drops under 60%, they use Recover.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is,
that's 50% of their health back. In
the original Pokemon games, besides Mewtwo, Starmie had the highest special attack in the game. So it could with that party that he had, he could just wipe out anything. It was so stupid. The only thing he ever used was Starmie. And I think he had like 1 bird, so he could use Fly. That's it. Sorry, go on.
There's something you'll hate, but it also, I think, because they made the game, it feels like they made the game more challenging, but then they also added this thing in, which makes it a little bit easier. If you're really friendly with a Pokemon, there is a random chance that whatever status condition it has, it will just drop the status condition.
That's kind of dumb, but
love for you, literally.
I guess
I really don't like the way they phrased it, because when that Pokemon gets too hurt or something, it's like, so let's say I was using my Torterra, right? My Torterra, halfway through the game, suddenly started getting really fucking needy. Because it was like, it would get hurt in a fight, and it was like, Torterra took a lot of damage. It looks like it's going to cry. What? It's a fucking tree. It'll just absorb its own tears back into it. Like, fucking, it's a turtle. I don't have an emotional connection to this thing. Fuck me.
Part of me, like, I can see why that would be kind of annoying. But part of me does respect them in terms of like a game design perspective. They're trying to integrate that, because in the original Diamond and Pearl and the games that introduced those aspects before those ones, it was very those were very separate, right? Like you had the part where you would go out and do the contests, and if your Pokemon liked you, they'd do good in the contests, and they'd have things happen there. But it was completely divorced from the main like gameplay loop of go out, catch Pokemon, train Pokemon, fight other people with Pokemon. So those were basically two completely separate games.
Well, that's not all. Also, it can, if a move will kill a Pokemon, occasionally it will just stay alive with 1 HP. And I've actually had it chain once. So a Pokemon reduced my Portera or Staravia or something, Staraptor, to 1 HP. I'm like, shit, alright, he's gonna die. He's gonna get another attack out so the next guy will have a fighting chance, right?
Yeah.
The enemy attacks again, like uses Earthquake, and it hits. And it does 0 damage because he's just covered it again. I'm like, it's a bit too much.
Turns it into a slot machine, which also, fun story, in the original Pokemon games, there was a casino you could go into to win Porygon. It was it was the only way to get Porygon.
Yeah.
And it was slot machines. But when they released Fire Red and Leaf Green, the kind of Game Boy Advance updated versions of the originals, they took them out because apparently they didn't want their kiddos gambling.
Yeah.
Except they were gambling with it. Except here we are in 2021 where the kiddos are gambling with real money with loot boxes. So,
yeah. Oh, but okay. Do you know the move that's got me through the whole fucking game? The move called Endeavor. Do you know what that is?
I know I've heard it and I know I've seen it in game. I've never used it and I do not know the effect.
So you get 5 attacks with it, and Endeavor reduces the opponent's Pokemon to the amount of life that you have. So all of these special things that mean that your Pokemon only go down to 1 HP is perfect, not just for killing enemy Pokemon.
Combine it with Endeavor because you could like survive, knock them down to 1, and then...
And for catching wild Pokemon, get them down to 1 HP, so they're not dead, but they are as likely to be killed in Pokeballs as possible.
That is
very useful skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're talking about going up against like legendary Pokemon. Because you really want to be careful when catching legendaries because you don't want to, like, you want to get them low, but you don't want to risk knocking them too low. But if you use that, boom, 1 HP, you're good.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that was what actually won me the champion in the end. My big plan when I did actually win was that I would just like put a bunch of debuffs on the enemy because it was the last guy and it was like the Skorupi or whatever, the scorpion dude, purple. And I knew he was real fucking strong. And I was like, right, I've got Dialga. I'm going to spend all my rubbishy Pokemon just to save time and get Dialga up to full health, debuff the shit out of the enemy, then send Dialga in, Roar of Time, because it's Dragon move, which is super effective, and Roar of Time is already fucking amazingly powerful. So I do that, I put Dialga out, he gets 1 shot. Even though I've reduced the enemy's attack.
That is always such a fucking bitch when that happens in those games. Like, I have a plan, this Pokemon, it's this epic creature from beyond the stars, and then, it just got shot in the dick and it's dead.
Yep. So I just switched to Staravia, Endeavor, 1 HP, quick attack, dead.
It is always hilarious in the lore of the game where you can have like this Pokemon that it's a legendary beast, you know, this creature that is beyond time and space, and it gets 1 shot, but this this random river shrew that you picked up and just trained was able to kill it.
The worst thing is like the Earthquake is super effective against Dialga. And like every Pokemon in the fucking universe knows Earthquake, it feels like.
It does seem to be, it's a fairly common ability.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Yeah, we're just talking about Pokemon now. Anyway. Well, any final thoughts? Pokemon, you've been playing too much of it, obviously. I haven't been playing enough of Diamond, apparently.
Nope. I don't know. I'm doing that kind of after game bit now, where you fight the battle tower, and I kind of find it a bit lame. I'm trying. There's an area that I still haven't unlocked, and I can't remember. I feel like there's like a second fashion part to the game, which you unlock right at the end of the game. I'm kind of hoping for that, but otherwise I'm kind of done with it.
With a lot of the remakes, they did do that. They added like a secondary area. The one I keep referencing, Fire Red and Leaf Green, they added a whole extra sequence of islands with super high level Pokemon and trainers and stuff that you go there and fight. So
Yeah,
I imagine they
do is sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I imagine they do that with all the remakes.
Yeah, so in this, 90% of the game you spend on in the region, and there's 150 Pokemon. Once you get to that other island, it's a tiny island, but it has potentially every other Pokemon in all of the series.
Yeah, that was something I really liked that they did in Gold and Silver, because they were the second two games which introduced the Johto region. But once you beat the Johto region, you could actually go back to the original Kanto region and beat all of them too. So you had you could basically, both games were in the second set of games, which was, I just thought that was.
Wouldn't
really
that make going through the gym leaders like fucking easy as fuck?
No, because they made them.
The ramp.
Oh yeah. So like
nice.
the final gym leader in the original games was like, he had like level 50 or something Pokemon or somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
But in this game, they were like level 70 or 80 or something like that. So it was really like a prestige round. You're going through. I beat all the gym leaders from my hometown. Now I'm going over here and I'm going to kick all y'all asses too. But they were
really a case of, you get a legendary from the first one you go through, and then by the third one, your legendary is suddenly not as strong as Bidoof.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, all right, let's end it there. We've actually gone on for quite a bit longer than I expected talking about Pokemon.
Who'd have thought Pokemon had a lot to talk about?
I mean, it's one of those things that it was part of both of our childhoods, so there was definitely going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, this is going to be the end of episode 77 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you will hear us again next week.
Bidoof.